one of the things that I most admire about you, Cynthia, is that you are probably one of those people that really looks and understands the concept of the ripple to carry that forward and to really to apply it to every interaction that you have with anybody, whether it's someone that you don't know, but you met on social media, they've attended one of your classes, or they've just come upon you in life or in work. You have this unique way of really connecting with people. And so I kind of like to hear your take on what the ripple is, what it's meant to you, and ultimately kind of how you leverage it for your own, personal and professional benefit.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. I'm like you. I feel like I'm an extreme introvert. I have social anxiety. I don't feel like, I'm a natural. And I just remember, I think it was like around 2007 when
Yep.
I was going through divorce, and felt like all of our friends were his friends because I'm not really like this terrific friend maker. So it was such a great deal getting married because then suddenly I had friends, that had to like me because I was this guy's wife. So, when we got divorced, it was the reverse of that, which is like, mass exodus of everybody I seem to know. And I realized at that moment that the whole time I had been married, I hadn't really been doing the work of relationships. I hadn't been really going out and trying to meet people. And when I did meet people, I wasn't really engaging in a way that, was sort of meaningful and memorable.
Yeah.
So I ended up kind of out there on my own. And just through some searching, I found you. And I remember this, email I wrote, which is like, please help me, like I don't know how to do this anymore. And that's when you invited me to the Ripple events, which was like the best thing that could happen because it was like um, drinking from the fire hose of learning how to relate to people. I mean, you go and you have to engage in conversation with people every 8 minutes. So there's this like volume of practice that you get at one of those events. And so I got it. When I went there, I was like, oh, I get it now. Like the questions. Yes, questions, right? You have to ask people these deeper questions.
Yep.
And I went out and I got your book, and I just wanted to show you like the first
Oh,
edition,
wow.
That's awesome.
and it's well worn with a little coffee stain on the corner,
I
and
love it.
priest, little dog ears on pages and things. So, I just wanted to. I was there at the
Yep.
beginning,
You were there.
and loved it. I was like studying it like a student. Like I gotta figure out how to do this. Um, and at that time, I was also. I mean, divorce is such a kick in the ass, like
Right.
everything changes. And so I was changing careers, also was considering becoming a coach, which for somebody who's not keen on relationships was kind of a weird choice because coaching is all about the
Yeah.
relationships. So, I was studying to be a coach. And so, again, with the questioning and the different kinds of skills that you have as a coach and deep listening and really trying to understand where people are coming from and not trying to fix it for people and not always being in it for yourself and, being very generous um, with your engagement with people, your time and what you're noticing about them and all of that stuff. So I guess it was just time for me in life to learn all about it. And I think one of the things that when I first read the book and I read that section about whether are you a connector or are you a persuader or are you a maven, and I was like, definitely the maven. Like
Yeah.
I love information and I love learning, but I'm not like it's not natural for me to be a connector. If anything, I I slip into the persuader from time to time. Um but I realized that as a maven, I was just gonna have to work at this probably all my life. This was never gonna feel like natural to me. I was gonna have to figure out how to do it, and I was gonna have to practice.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to do. I think in life, just in general, anyone that I run into, I see it as an opportunity to practice. And I always wonder if I might be the right person at the right time for them. Like what it's not all about what I'm going to get from this person. Like maybe they'll be a customer, or maybe they'll be a
Yeah.
mentor, or maybe they'll, sell me a house, or maybe, but I wonder if there's something I have to offer that they might need right now.
Yeah.
So, I think just sort of for me, it was kind of switching it around. And instead of always wondering what this person might do for me, it was about, hey, this person could really need me right now. They could really need a listener. They could
Yeah.
really need a friend. They could really need a hug. They could really need, somebody to help them with their business. Um, so I think that's the practice for me is just when everybody I meet, remembering to turn it around that
Yeah.
way. And that makes me a little less anxious, a little less nervous about it.
You
And
know that.
obviously, it's the questions, that I think help in my practice the most, having a
Sure.
pocket full of really good questions to ask people questions that elicit like who they really are as a person. And that's what I'm really interested in anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just having really great questions lined up.
Well, and I think you and I are a lot alike. I think Mark would probably agree, him knowing me as well as he does for as long as he has, that you and I aren't comfortable being, at the front of the room per se, or in the spotlight, but we're really good at asking questions because the questions really tell the tale, right? They
Mm,
tell the story, and if you do it right and you have the right approach, you can get people to open up and share so much, and that opens up just a plethora of opportunity for you to take a conversation one direction, or to solve or find a problem that might need fixing, which as a maven is a big thing for you, right? And
mm,
I kind of in that same way, I kind of like to deconstruct and kind of figure out where I can add value and, do what I can to contribute. And it really took Mark kind of, pulling that out of me about casting that stone. That stone was the action. The action, creates the ripple, and the ripple ripples out, and it touches ways that you don't or can't possibly imagine. But then it always does have this weird tendency to come back to you in some,
mm.
odd perspective. And so I think that, when I first met you, I would say that you probably didn't give yourself enough credit because you were incredibly approachable, even though you might have like been a little bit reserved and a little bit more introverted, kind of like me. You made it easy for people to have a conversation with you, which I think is one of the key factors. And I think you do that because you're pretty good at trying to figure out how to deconstruct who that person is, and look for ways to contribute to them in some capacity.
Yeah, I think I care deeply about people, even people I've just met. I I just I care about them, and I don't think people really want to believe that that's possible unless you like earn it somehow. Like you have to
Yeah.
earn somebody's care. And I just care about people. And
Yep.
so when people are telling me a story about what happened to them when they were 5, I'm like so glued to that. I'm so into that. And I want to know and I care about that stuff. And just, being a deep caring person doesn't make it easy for me. So um I think that I do well when I can do the practice.
Yep.
Uh, if I can get outside of my inner voices and just say yes to being in a conversation with somebody and not, hang out in the corner with a drink,
Yeah.
um, I can actually get into some really meaningful conversations. And I appreciate it when somebody's listening to me with a great deal of care. I can feel it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I try to offer in return, is just letting people know that, I'm not trying, this isn't a business deal.
Yeah.
This is a real person to person connection. And that's why I love the questions, because they're not about the business. In fact, one of my favorite questions is to ask people what's not on your resume.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
What's not on your resume? People are full of stories about things that they've done, adventures that they've had, things that you did when you were 6 that you're really proud of, and they don't make it on the resume.
Yeah.
But it's still a big part of who you are.
Absolutely.
And so I think about the things that aren't on my resume. I ordered a solo, I did a solo trip 36 miles down the Arkansas River. And, I don't know when I think about that, but every once in a while I do. And I'm like, that's a piece of me that nobody knows about,
I didn't know
I-
until just now.
And a lot of people don't know that I was in the Marine Corps, and that was like 4 years of my life. And it's on my resume, but it's not, super prominent. It was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
But like things like, I've been sober for 20 years. That's not on my resume.
Yeah.
But that's something I work at every single day. So, and, when I was a drinker, it was easy for me to meet people.
Yeah.
But then I got sober, and oh my God, how does this work? Without a drink beforehand, So, and I just had to get real with myself. Like, this isn't ever going to feel like a natural thing. I'm not going to walk into a party and be like, turned on,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm going to have to work at it. I'm going to have to think about it beforehand.
I've heard so many stories like that from people who've read the book. I think that, that's the difference between like standard business networking and what the Ripple offers, is that it's not about being on, it's not about presenting, it's not about that business card swap. It's really about making yourself vulnerable, which is really risky. It's powerful, but it's risky because it's sort of getting out there and saying, here's me and I want to hear about you. And so for people who are genuine and really are very much interested in, helping other people, I think it's a great mechanism. And I think it's one of the appeals that it has for folks. But yeah, it's a different mindset.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well,
I just want to thank you so much, Steve, for the friendship all these years, for sort of coming to my rescue in the beginning and getting me your book and your second edition and your third edition, and hanging, letting me kind of hang out as one of your biggest fans all these years.
Thank you.
And terrific.
I appreciate that. I have to share a comment that Christina Brewer just put up on Facebook. I'm cold just thinking about that snow. She's in Spain up late, obviously watching this, but she's a former soccer player of mine. But you'll love her one of these times when you both are back in Austin. You guys will have to meet. But I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Thanks for joining today, Cynthia. I really, really appreciate it. I just can't tell you how honored I am to be your friend, and I'm so proud of you in every way. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. So proud of you too. This third edition's just fantastic.
Thank you very much. We will talk soon.
Okay.
All right. See ya.
Bye.